Welcome to the next episode of the Tech Exec. Today is December 13th. Saw some interesting news today that President Biden announced, formally announced that they won't be extending the student loan forgiveness program. So for the last almost 2 years, student loans have kind of been postponed during the pandemic, given students who were carrying that student loan debt some little bit of breathing room while the economy was kind of shaking out and giving folks a chance to get their finances in order. Definitely well worth it, and definitely helped a lot of students out over that time period. And in this announcement, he also said that payments will begin February 1st of 2020, about 2 months from now. And as I was reading this, I saw a lot of responses and comments, almost shock, and I found that interesting. The first thing I want to say is, one, no one's coming to save us. It's a harsh reality as an adult, but no one is coming to save us. We make decisions, and at the end of the day, you can't rely on anybody else really to come in and clean up after decisions you made. That includes things like student loans. As harsh as it sounds, it sucks, but that's the truth of the matter. Second is I'm trying to understand why people are surprised by this. Maybe it's because I'm 43 and I've been around enough political cycles to know that, one, politicians will lie and say anything to get your vote. That includes over the last few decades of offering money directly to voters in exchange for their votes. And this is just another kind of incarnation of that. So when you really think about it, this was really just an opportunity to dangle a carrot in front of voters, and it was a good carrot. Got a lot of people excited, got a lot of people hopeful that these massive student loans would be forgiven. So that brings me to the next topic. One, loans just aren't forgiven. And that's especially for student loans. It is the one type of debt here in the U.S. that you can't get expunged through bankruptcy. Student loan debt will stay with you to the day you pay it off. I know I paid off $80,000+ of student loan debt. So, let's play out this scenario. Let's say that the student loan debt would have been forgiven. Someone, i.e., the taxpayers, would have to pay for it. And as of July 2021, total student loan debt here in the U.S. was about $1.7 trillion. That's trillion with a T. With the average bachelor degree holder carrying about $30,000 of debt each. And so if you look at that $1.7 trillion number, there's about 258 million adults here in the U.S. So that's about $6,700 of debt for every adult here in the U.S. And I don't know about the rest of you. I pay enough in taxes. I don't need an additional $6,700 added to the tax bill. So that's one thing you really want to think about is, when you talk about forgiving a massive public debt, somebody's going to have to pay for it. And typically it's the taxpayer. And typically it's the middle class taxpayer. So how do we get into this mess? There's a number of different reasons given for how we get into this mess. But at the end of the day, it is inflated tuition prices at the university and college level caused by government guarantees of student loans. So if you know for a fact that you're going to get paid no matter what price you set on something, and you've essentially, put out the message that the ticket to a better life, to moving up the economic ladder, is a college degree, and you continue to inflate those prices, and the government continues to pay off those student loans and guarantee those student loans will be paid off, you end up in a situation where you get to $1.7 trillion of debt. And so this has caused a particular problem with each generation going through. You're carrying more and more debt with every generation. The other side of the equation is the financing of tuition isn't tied to anything that benefits the country. So if we were to say, there's a set of majors that we need, a set of skills that we're going to need over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and only those majors are going to qualify for public financing, then you start to be in a situation where there are industries and jobs that carry enough salary so that those loans can be paid off. Even better yet still, if they're paid for with scholarships, those students graduate with no debt. So what do we do about the other students who would otherwise pick a major that doesn't necessarily fit into these strategic categories? Well, we provide guidance to either go with the strategic areas that provide a benefit back to the country or to industry, or you go on a different path that doesn't require you to take on massive debt. And so there's going to be a number of trade-offs, and it requires really thinking about personal finance, thinking about the career path that you want to take, thinking about the type of life that you want to live, the types of things that you want to work on. But at the end of the day, these are things that we're going to have to do at the individual, family, community, state, and national level. We have to really think about how we pay for and how we mentor and guide kids into the career paths that are best for them and best for the country. So brings us to the last area. How do we actually get out of this problem? Well, one, stop giving $80,000 loans to children. That's the first thing. If you go on a college campus and you're a freshman, you can get an $80,000 student loan, no question asked. But let that 18-year-old go and apply for a business loan for a new idea that they have, and they're gonna get run through the ringer, get the runaround, and run into all types of red tape of why they shouldn't be able to get a business loan. And I think that is completely ass backwards. We should make it more difficult to be able to sign up and just get a massive student loan debt with no underlying collateral behind it. So there's a way to make education easier to attain, but also decouple it from the massive debt that saddles and creates this essentially is financial slavery that saddles people for 10, 15, 20 years. It's insane. The second thing we need to do is develop a national strategy and for the skills that are needed over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And those things that we need align tuition financing to those strategic areas where you include scholarships, you include student loans, but you're only providing this public guarantee of tuition in areas that have been earmarked and defined as of national strategic interest. So what are those things? So we need more CS majors. We need more petroleum engineers. We need more cybersecurity engineers. We need more mechanical engineers, electricians, and other tradespeople. These are things that are required to not only maintain public infrastructure, but to continue to build out public infrastructure and make the country more competitive globally. Beyond just global competition, we're looking at a burgeoning space industry, and these are skills that will be needed as industry continues to expand. A new era of space exploration, landing on the moon, going to Mars, building colonies. So there's going to be a lot of opportunity that opens up to the people that have the right skills. But first, we have to really think about how do we decouple this debt slavery from the ability to get the education and the skills needed to compete in the world. So that's my take on it. Hopefully this was helpful. Give you a little bit more perspective on why I don't believe anybody's coming to save us, but also how you can start to take advantage of the situation. And now that you know that no one's coming to save you, how do you put yourself in the best situation to pick the right major, pick the right industry, and really put yourself in the best position to compete, not only here in the U.S. but also globally and around the world. So with that, this is Daniel Williams, Tech Exec. Hopefully this was helpful and you appreciate it. If you do, give me a like, subscribe, and continue to support this channel. Thanks.